really beautiful products for us. A lot of us are in love with the precision piecing glue, and Shelley does beautiful work and that. And then this one, this is their Easy Press solution, and it is in lieu of a spray starch. And I will tell you, one of the things I like about this is that it doesn't have fumes. The other day I was doing something with spray starch, another brand, and I just started sneezing my brains out, and I didn't realize it was because of the fumes. So I got this little travel spray thing, and I put it in here, but I'm going to get my hands on the aerosol, sprayer, and a big gallon jug. I wonder where I'm getting that. Thank you, guys. And I can't wait to have it in full motion. And one of the great things about this is that you can layer it. You can start with one layer, and if it's not enough, you do another layer. Somebody on Wednesday asked, is it okay to spray directly on your wool mat? And I made light of it, and then I started thinking about it. If I were doing a long, say, by a stem like this, I would probably spray it in my hand and squinch it around and then go from there. I'm sorry I blew off your question, and I realized when I hung up from this that I had. So for that, I apologize. Anyways, Bernie has written a book that I'm going to tell you right now you should have by your sewing machine. And we did a little video on it so he can talk about it. It's filled with really great things. And this is what I know about my sewing machine. And I'm knowing more and more before we get to their thing. I'll clean it with this. I'll clean it with this. But you never, ever use this because this will just put the dust back in. And I do know it's important to oil your machine. And it was either my Q20 or my 765. I went to oil it and I forgot how I was supposed to. And I went to YouTube and it said, you learn to oil it this way, but you want to do it this other way. So whatever brand you have, it might be worth your while to go and look at the latest video on the care and feeding of oiling your machine. And I was smacked when I learned, that brother doesn't need to be oiled at all, which I can't even believe that. So I'm just going to leave it at that. Talk to whomever you bought your machine from. But let's take a look at our little recording. It was fun. I like these guys a lot. Well, here we are with Bernie and Shelley Tobisch. Hi, guys.
Hi, Alex.
Nice to see you.
I'm so glad that you're doing this record with me because you have a really exciting new product that's out that we need to talk about. But Shelley, before we get going, tell me about what's going on behind you.
Well, I have for years been wanting to do the quilt show BOM. And now that I find myself with some extra time on my hands this year, and that pattern by Wendy has just grabbed my heart with the houses. And so I decided that I got to join in this year and do the quilt show BOM. I am so excited. I love it.
I love those little daisies there. I don't know if you're going to keep them or not, but they are so cute,
I can tell you those daisies actually, Dynamic Dresden's book by Susan Cleveland.
Oh.
I love her Dresden's. I've done other projects with it, and I thought, well, gee, how small can you go? And
right.
So that
super
is
cute.
that is inspired by the Dynamic Dresden's.
So before we get into what we're going to be talking about, everybody, if you don't know who Shelley and Bernie are, Shelley's a thinker, and she puts the challenge up to Bernie, and then Bernie solves the problem. And you've got some really great products that really make our piecing go so much better. And you've written a book, Shelley. It's called what's it? Easy Precision
Piecing.
Yeah, and you've done a show with us on it, and people just love you. But what I want to talk about is I just got my hands on this book that Bernie you did, and what you people need to know is that you've been a sewing machine repair person for how long?
In March, it'll be 45 years.
Wow. And there are universal issues that happen with sewing machines. So this is kind of a go-to guide on how to not fix the timing, but if something's going wrong, then what? So how did this dandy little book come together? I adore that it's on this, ring thing so you can put it by your machine.
Yeah, it came together. I had done a book a couple of years ago for C&T called You and Your Sewing Machine, which has just a bit more information than that book, but it's based on a class that we do called Build a Better Relationship with Your Sewing Machine. And that class is around issues that people have commonly that I feel that isn't beyond their scope to troubleshoot and to fix. The books aren't there for a technician, they're actually there for a non-technician and shouldn't put anybody out of their comfort zone. So what C&T did there, they made a smaller fold open version of the original book.
Well, it is fabulous. And I'll tell you, everybody, it just starts with, in the very beginning, here we go through here. Okay, skipping stitches, shredding, and breaking thread. And it possible causes, it goes right, whoop, everything's backwards here. It goes down here, possible causes, and then how to fix it. Loops on the back of fabric, inconsistent tension, fabrics won't feed, fabric puckering. I mean, on and on and on. It's all in here. And the other thing I want to say too is that it's not specific to one brand.
No, that's right. I try to encompass all the different sewing systems. You may not see, every single model in there, but you will find your sewing system. And what I've talked about is things that are common to all the various sewing systems out there, whether it's a drop-in bobbin, a front rotary, oscillating, the large bobbin machines, that type of thing.
So, Bernie, what is your favorite chapter in here? Or I maybe not your favorite, but the one that you're like, you get that question over and over and over.
Yeah, I'm particularly proud of the troubleshooting section, but of course that then, yeah, that then really that leads to the different areas of the book. I think what I think is what I guess what I like about the book and what people have been commenting on is that there are things about their machine they never knew, like for example to adjust balance, or to adjust presser foot pressure, or gee, I
Wait,
can
back up.
actually,
What's
yeah,
balance? What's balance?
balance. Okay, well, balance is adjusts the relationship between forward feeding and reverse feeding for those stitches that have that capability. So a stretch stitch, for example, stitches 2 stitches forward and 1 back. And if that back stitch isn't matched perfectly to the forward stitch, then your stitch doesn't look even. It also shows up in some styles of buttonhole where one side is very dense and the other side is very open, and then you have uneven sides, right? So that's
No,
balance.
I
And
didn't know
almost,
that. I guess I'm not doing buttonholes. So okay, because you're going one direction on a buttonhole, boom over, and then you're going the other direction, and they don't match, and it's because the balance is off.
balance is off, right? And almost all machines have an adjustment, almost, for balance. And with balance, you can actually create a new stitch with balance. And I know, for example, on your machine, because we can do this on Shelley's machine, and I might just have Shelley, while I'm talking to you about this, find the page. Uh, there was a applique sample that Shelley was making where we wanted it to look so much like hand stitching that even the shops that we sent the sample to couldn't tell. We got a response from some shops saying we thought this was a machine applique class, and it was, but it was actually hand stitched. Can you show where the applique stitches are?
What machine is Shelley on?
Well, she has a 770, a Bernina
Okay, so I'm
770.
the 765. Okay, yeah.
Yeah, and so you have quite a big range of adjustment on your balance. And so what we did, the mock hand applique stitch, which has 4 stitches and then comes over and bites into the fabric and then back out, those stitches are too far apart. So the bite into the fabric is too far apart. A blanket stitch was too heavy. So what we did was we took our balance adjustment to the blanket stitch. Sorry, I'm just going to reach over here. it is in there.
Okay.
We took our blanket stitch, adjusted the balance enough, and you have enough range on your machine that what it did was it took that one stitch forward, and then it came over into the fabric as a V and back out as a V.
Well, isn't that the very something stitch or something like number 3 or 4 on the machine?
No. Here, I'll see if I can. I don't know if you'll be able to see this if I hold this up to the screen.
Well, tell me what page.
Oh, okay. It's on
Of course,
page.
it's all about me, Bernie.
It's on page 99.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, hold it up there.
Okay. It's on page 99. So if you if you look, you can see a sample of the mock hand applique stitch on one page and the blanket stitch, right?
Uh-huh. Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
now, okay, so now if you look up here, let me just make sure I'm looking in the right spot. Okay, if you look up here, there's the blanket stitch with the balance adjusted, and now it's a very, very, very fine applique stitch with only one stitch in between where it bites into your fabric.
You know, we're doing an applique unit right now at TQS, so I find this really interesting. I'll tell you what I do is, and I'm going to get to you, Shelley. You think about your favorite part of the book. I take my blanket stitch and I extend it and I shrink it really, really, really small for width.
Yeah.
And you prefer this other over that?
Oh, try it. You still want to do a small width. If you go to your blanket stitch, then touch the eye, go into balance. That's the scales.
And
turn it to plus. What do you use? Plus
20.
Plus 20.
Okay.
And watch what happens. I'm telling you, it's an amazing stitch.
You cannot see your stitches at all. I have a sample of it here, but I don't know that it will
I don't think it's going to show.
Yeah,
Let me see if I can get mine in there. Can you see it? Is this what you want to show?
I can see the blanket stitch, how that's been changed there. Yes.
So that's the blanket stitch?
Yeah, that's the blanket stitch.
And what I was looking for is, and you know how you do have the very overlock stitch?
Yeah.
We were mentioning earlier. Those 3 stitches in between, the tension can get messed up
because they're so small.
Because they're so tiny, and you can see your bobbin thread pulled up, no matter how hard you try. And that's why I envisioned a stitch that had just one stitch between instead of 3 or 4.
That's what bugged me about
this tiny little zigzag one stitch. And that one stitch is manageable. You can manage the tension on that one stitch.
And you can still adjust your length and width to anything you want.
I love learning.
And this I do all my applique now is with that stitch. I love it with invisible thread. It looks hand done because you cannot see.
You cannot see it. Mm-hmm. Okay, everyone. I'm so glad we're doing this interview in the middle of the class, and I am going to try it. I think that's great. Mm-hmm. So, Shelley, what's your favorite part of the book?
Well, my very favorite part of this book is the eye candy on the front.
Yeah, not bad. Not bad. You're sweating, Bernie. Well, listen, I think that this is really a great, great book. Congratulations. I'm glad that C&T had the foresight to make it so that you can just keep it in your, drawer right there and look. And I know sometimes we can get really hinked up with our machines, especially if we have a higher end machine. And in the end, they are just machines, Yeah. And you do know these. I mean, like right here, I don't even know what this brand is, but again, it's not specific to one brand.
Nope, it'll cover almost every system out there.
Yeah. So, okay, you can't say what it is, but I understand you're working on something new. Will we get to see and hear?
Yes, eventually. We can't talk about it right now. We do.
No, I know you can't talk about it. You can't talk about it.
Well, we are having we just did a new thing with C&T. We're collaborating on a book.
Great.
So that'll be. I can't tell you what it's about.
Yeah,
but,
that's very exciting.
And now,
love it.
You guys are going to be doing a YouTube channel that the ETA is the end of March, I'm going to say 21.
Yeah, absolutely. It's going to be a combination of things. Shelley's going to show techniques and things she loves to do, might be some foot stuff. And then I'll be there to relate it to sewing machines, to your particular machine. It'll be live so that people can ask questions about their particular machine. It's going to be called As the Spool Turns.
No, I think that's great. And the great thing about YouTube's, okay, so for instance, the thing that I'm doing live, of which Shelley participates in, you might have X amount this day, but then it reaches out and exponentially, and it's fabulous education for people. And one of the things I'd like to say about you too, both of you, is that everyone, if you're watching them, you're getting good information. And that's not always the case on some of these YouTube channels, but you can trust, you can trust what they do. But Shelley, the real thing I want you to do, if you were to you can look at yourself now, because we can't look at our own faces because there's a delay. If you were up about 4 more inches, you'd have a crown.
Oh, yeah, right, I would.
Thank you so much. And I look forward to talking with you, playing with you, and seeing what's next, because you just bring excellence to the quilting world.
Well, thank you so much, Alex. And thanks for what you do.
And I can't wait to see you again sometime.
Yeah, let's hope.
Oh,
and I also.
Now the other thing too, you are doing Skype presentations to guilds, correct?
Oh, yeah, we're doing Zoom. Yeah, Zoom presentations.
That's what I meant, Zoom.
Yeah, and we've really taken a big leap, and we have just yesterday booked full classes with some shops. We're talking 1 and 2 day full classes on Zoom. So this should be really interesting. We decided we watched you and we appreciate the information that you had given us. So we decided just to dive right in.
Yeah, I told them to get a better camera, this and that, and they did, and they got more than that. And they said that they did what I told them, and I said, "Well, send me a check for 50,000, and let's do that."
You'll get our second 50,000.
Okay. Well, thank you. Okay, wait. How do people get hold of you?
Well, easyprecisionpiecing.com. No, easyprecisionpiecing@gmail.com. Is that right?
That's our email address.
No, that's wrong. Okay. Yes, I'm glad you're editing this.
Okay, no, we're not. Okay, I want to book you for my guild. How am I going to get you?
You can get us at littleoakpattern@gmail.com.
littleoakpattern@gmail.com.
That's it.
If you forget that really long email address, you can visit us online at easyprecisionpiecing.com.
Okay.
And you will find that email address there.
You guys are awesome. And that's how we roll.
Yeah.
That's right.
Okay. Have a great day. Thanks so much.
You too. Okay. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Aren't they the best? It kind of makes me cringe when I watch this because I'm so much louder than them. So for that, I ask your forgiveness. So this is the book. It's Sewing Machine Reference Book. We have it at the Quilt Show. Eva, if you have the first book, I don't think you need this book. I mean, yeah, it's great that it's, spiral and all that, but I know Bernie and Shelley, you're watching right now. If you could type in whether or not this is a added or if it's just a little more simplified and made a little more user friendly because of the spiral bound. I kind of feel like that's what I heard you say. All right. Then, so I don't think it's a companion. I think it's a redo, and they just made it a lot more user friendly. Also, somebody said on there that FOP has an antique buttonhole stitch for applique. What I wasn't sure they said, and now I heard it for sure. Let me just recap something. Forever, I used the over Verilok stitch on my Bernina, and it basically went a triangle bite, and then 1, 2, 3, triangle bite, 1, 2, 3. And those 3 stitches coming down were, in my book, really irritating because it showed too much. So that's when I went to my blanket stitch, and it goes, and of course this is all, I adjust it and make it smaller in width, and I fiddle with it. It's not standard default for finished applique. I would make mine, okay, blanket stitch, bite, down, bite, down. Oh, I'm going in two different directions. I shouldn't watch, but down, bite, down, bite, down, bite. And I would adjust it accordingly. But what they said, what I heard this time, and I didn't hear the first time, is that on the blanket stitch, when you come down, you're going to go this way, you're going to go this way, and you're piling up your stitches. And so the great thing, and they showed me how to adjust my machine, is it goes down, a little bit of V, down, so you don't have the thread pile up there. Bernie, all info in the first book. Okay, all the same info. Thanks, Bernie. The same info is in this book as the first book. This is just more user-friendly. That's kind of what I thought. And that's the other thing I'm going to say about C&T is that when they get a winner book, they will do it again and just make it better, make adjustments, etc. So again, we do have these at TQS. Now, if you're wondering about the quilt behind me, this is Wendy Williams' quilt. And yesterday I did an interview with her. I think Fridays are going to be called Interview Friday. And this is our TQS Block of the Month 2021. And you get the pattern free when you become a subscribing member. Again, right now our website's down, but it will be up very shortly. And you can subscribe. No, we will not give you the pattern all at once. You have to do it month by month by month by month. And it looks like it's a complicated thing to do, but it's not. The way Wendy has written out the instructions is fabulous. The way Barbara Black is shepherding you through is fabulous. I was going to do this quilt and I decided not to, only because I'm having to do my bit for you. And so that center star, Barbara challenged me, that was February, to do it. She said, you can do it in 2 hours. Yep, you can. But I am working on the next project for you. I showed you the fabrics before. They're absolutely exquisite. It's a combination of both piecing and actually flip and sew piecing and applique. I am beyond happy with this quilt. I'm not ready to show you yet. I'm going to be a meanie weenie and not show you. I'm working on the outside applique border right now, and I'm having a ball. When I hang up, when I hang up here, I'm going to go out to work and meet Kristen, and she is working on the pattern that I gave the bones to. And there's a reason I don't write patterns. She said, do you really mean you need 1/5 of a yard for the flowers in the vine? No, you need a half a yard. I don't write patterns, okay? So, Texas, I see a bunch of you have jumped on here, and I'm glad you have your electrical and all that. It's just been horrifying watching. So, how to make the straight line into a V-stitch? I don't understand. Trudy, I will do that as a demo if you would like next week. I will walk you through what Shelley taught me. I cannot just go boom, 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 boom right now. You'll start crying. And actually, I'm wondering, I don't think it's in the book because I am. Yes, it is in the book. It's not as specific to a brand, but basically you play with the balance. And the balance on a Bernina's you take up to a 20, and that created it. But I'd be more than happy to show you that next week. Not a problem at all. So the instructions are very easy to understand on the BOM. Yeah, they are. Please, Demi, next Friday. Demo. No, next Friday I'm going to have Wendy Williams, but we've got Monday, Wednesday, Friday that I'm hanging out with you. We kind of have a schedule going. Mary Kay's making me get organized, but there's always room to play a little bit. So keep working on your birdies, get them going. I don't want to say we're on the home stretch, but we're darn near close to the home stretch on it. And I just want to put out all the applique stuff I know. And as an aside, this Saturday I'm doing a presentation for Applique Society on Saturday, tomorrow morning. I'm looking forward to that. I'm not claiming to be an expert in applique, but you'll find in my work I have a fusion of both applique and piecing, and I think they play beautifully together. So, all right, now remember, this is not the real quilt show. These are live videos that are raw. And tomorrow, Dee is going to continue on with her Long Time Gone. We did get more patterns at the quilt show. So if you haven't gotten yours yet, go ahead and get it. It is by Jen Kingwell. And I'm just so happy that we can hang out together. You know, I was thinking about this whole COVID thing and mask thing and all that. And let me tell you what I miss more than anything are seeing your beautiful smiles when I run into you. That's what I miss, are smiles. Soon enough, we'll be able to enjoy them again, right? So have a good day, and we'll see you on Monday. And don't forget, Dee, tomorrow. There we go. Bye-bye. Oh, wait, I had one other thing I wanted to show you. Here we go.